All right, the time has come. My favorite segments here. I'm putting Sam on the hot seat with What Does It Mean, covering all the latest hot topics in Minnesota sports. First up, PFF's Mike Renner named the top 10 players to have a breakout campaign in 2022, and not one, but two Vikings made the list: cornerback Cam Dantzler and left guard Ezra Cleveland. What does it mean when which young Vikings will take the biggest leap from last year to now under a new coaching staff and another year under their belt? I mean, you can go the easy route. You can pick Dantzler or Cleveland. Nothing wrong there. Who else could maybe take a big leap this season if you were going to go outside the box a little bit? Who sticks out for you?
Well, I fully agree with Dantzler. I mean, first of all, I think that Dantzler has probably been a little underrated because his end game meltdowns have been his calling card, but he actually has been a pretty good corner. Cleveland as well, for sure. I think Kene Nwangwu is probably a candidate that I look to. I mean, I saw during OTAs, they're using him very much in an interchangeable role with Alexander Mattison. I don't think it's necessarily an RB2, RB3. I think it's RB2 A and RB2B. And I think those two are going to be used based on the matchup, based on the situation. And I think they're going to get very similar reps. Alexander Madison's in the last year of his deal. That guy's probably not going to get re-signed. So it's not as if you are building something with Madison. You're building something with Nwangwu. And you've got another 2 years after this one with him. And you want to integrate him into this offense with his explosion. So I think that he becomes a major like fantasy darling with the amount that he's going to catch the ball, with his potential explosiveness. You're going to see big plays from him this year, I'm convinced of. So I think offensively, that's a gigantic breakout candidate. Defensively, I'm having a little more difficulty because the edge rushers are obvious. You know, it's Daniil and it's za'darius. It's hard to say where the other pressure is going to come from on that defensive line. Is it going to come from Armand Watts on the interior? Is it going to come from like DJ Wanham? Is he going to find kind of a resurgence? I don't know about that.
Let's deep dive on that one because DJ Wanham was the guy I circled. And here's why. Because we know za'darius and Hunter, they're not going to play all 17 games. I mean, I think most fans are hoping if we can get 3 quarters from each of them, I think you're happy with that. So there's got to be a third guy in the mix. Plus, you know, they're going to use a lot of different looks. They're going to use a lot of different sub packages. If it's Daniil Hunter moving around, all right, he's over the A gap, he's over the center and guard. Well, who else is on the edge? Maybe it's za'darius, in fact, who's moving around more like a chess piece than Daniil Hunter when it's all said and done. But DJ Wanham quietly had 8 sacks last season. And I think when you think about the time that's most likely going to be missed by Hunter and za'darius for at least a handful of games here or there, za'darius 31, getting long in the tooth, coming off a major back surgery as well. Hunter landed on the IR the last 2 seasons. Wanham could be not only a third rotational piece that's used a lot on pass rushing downs, but he may end up being the starter, just the second guy, more games than not by the time this 2022 season's all said and done. Quietly had 8 sacks. I think that's the guy that I'm thinking about. Gotten better every season, and now you're hitting, his third, fourth season. I think he's starting to hit that peak of really how good he could be. So that's one. I love that you brought up Kene Nwangwu. I love to get those insider scoops that it's actually been him working with that second team just as much as Alexander Mattison. If the writing wasn't on the wall, Mattison was likely not going to be re-signed when they drafted Nwangwu. It for sure was on the wall when they drafted Ty Chandler. You're just not going to keep all these guys. So Mattison likely gone. I think they found a serious diamond in the rough, a gem with Kene Nwangwu. We saw the speed last year, not 1 but 2 return touchdowns on special teams. Now we're going to see him start to actually get implemented inside the offense a little bit more. That should be a lot of fun too. So I like those 2 names that you mentioned, Wanham, Kene Nwangwu. Thielen, you know, he's been known to miss a handful of games. What if KJ Osborne ends up stepping into that wide receiver 2 role? Justin Jefferson's double, triple coverage. What if KJ Osborne takes his game to another level? I think everybody's expecting big things, but if he were to actually get wide receiver 2 type of targets, that could be another one that inside this offense could end up doing some big things. I'm just going to throw one more random name out here. What's going on with Chaz Surratt? He's a 3rd round pick, and I know he's a converted quarterback to linebacker. It's going to take him a little bit. I know this linebacker situation's absolutely muddled once you get past the starters, But I have a hard time just writing off a third-round pick after just one season. I'm not saying he's going to be a breakout by any means, but I'm just keeping tabs, a close watch. I'm going to be checking in with you when you're out at TCO during training camp, seeing what a guy like Chad Surratt's going to be doing. Any other last name you want to fling out? Possible breakout candidate for next year?
Yeah, I think Bynum. I think Cam Bynum being in that starter's role. I don't think Lewis Cine is guaranteed to start. I think Lewis Cine could start out as a sub-package guy, and I've always viewed Lewis Cine as, sort of a groomed safety in the future for Harrison Smith, but not necessarily a starter in week one. If Cam Bynum plays the way he did in those 2 starts last year, I love his chances to be a breakout star, and he could be the next great safety to play next to Harrison Smith. Sendejo had some great years. Anthony Harris had some elite years. Xavier Woods had a nice little run last year. So I'm really bullish on Cam Bynum.
Everybody's just assuming Lewis Cine's just going to come in and take that job. Maybe it's 3 safety sub-package looks. You bring in all 3 safeties at the same time. Maybe they got a long-term plan with Harrison Smith just to save his legs a little bit and get as much as they can, last 2-3 years of his career. And maybe they get Lewis Cine and Cam Bynum on the field at the same time and give Harry a breather, given that certain down and distance and situation in the ball game. All right, next one up. Justin Jefferson is currently the second favorite to win the receiving title behind only Cooper Kupp at 8.5 to 1, while Dalvin Cook tied for 4th to win the rushing title with Nick Chubb at 11 to 1 behind only Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry. What does it mean when it comes to the best value bet for the NFL futures category you've seen this offseason? If I were to give you $20, what's the juiciest return that catches your eye? Could be anything. JJ, Cook, Rookie of the Year, MVP. I'm giving you the entire board here, tossing you a softball. Who do you like?
Can I pick a team, or do I have to pick a team player? Yeah,
absolutely. Whole board's open.
So I took a look at the AFC West division title odds. Chiefs are minus 160, obviously the favorites. I'm not sure that they should be, because I look at that division. The Chargers are charging. Justin Herbert is a star. They're plus 300. The Broncos were a pretty good team last year without a quarterback. Now they have a quarterback, Russell Wilson. And I know I just disrespected Teddy there. Don't get mad at me, people. But the Broncos are plus 500. Plus 500 with Russ.
That's insane value with Russell Wilson. Are you kidding me?
And speaking of value, we're sleeping on the Raiders here. They were a playoff team. They got Devontae Adams, and they're plus 1,200. Plus 1,200. So, wow. So if you lay out $50 on each of those underdogs, you're going to either get your money back on, the Chargers, or you're going to make money on the Broncos or the Raiders if you just bet against the Chiefs. Because the Chiefs are going to have to play 6 division games against all of those pretty good teams. They lost Tyreek Hill. It's been a 4-year run for them in the AFC Championship game, unprecedented. But at some point, that is going to, come to roost, and they're not going to be a division winner, probably a wild card team, but someone is going to beat them out. And there's 3 teams, and I think any of them can do it. So I would bet against the Chiefs and bet on, spread your money around if you want in that AFC West division.
Yeah, I really like that. It's absolutely the best division in football. They're going to beat each other up. I'm taking a shot, throwing a dart up on the board with one of those value plays for sure. Chargers 3 to 1, Broncos 5 to 1 with Russell Wilson, 12 to 1. You're right, with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. I'm going defensive rookie of the year, 11 to 1 odds. They're practically giving away this money here, Sam. Ravens safety Kyle Hamilton. Are you kidding me? My number 1 player on the draft board. First thing with Rookie of the Year, you got to look about their path to starting. They're already starting Kyle Hamilton right out the gate next to Marcus Williams at Ravens OTA. The guys who usually win Defensive Rookie of the Year, they have a lot of sacks, right? They impress you, hence why Aiden Hutchinson, Travon Walker, Tibbs for the Giants, they're the 3 favorites. But think about it. Hamilton's going to get sacks. He's going to get interceptions. He's going to get forced fumbles, and he's going to tally a boatload of tackles. He's the total package at 11 to 1. Sam, what's for lunch, man? I'm buying anything you want. You call it out, man. Hey, I'll give you one more, too. I really like Najee Harris at 15 to 1 to win the rushing title. I really like that one. Rookie quarterback brought in.
Yep.
They're going to give Najee 400-plus touches this year. He's one of the rare young guys on the list that's young, fresh, doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on the tires. He's going to be able to carry that load. Henry often gets dinged up. Cook often gets dinged up. Jonathan Taylor, the favorite. Yeah, sure, not a bad bet there. But if you want value, Najee Harris at 15-1, I think is just great value if you're looking for one of those value plays. What do you think about those two?
400 touches for Harris. That's bold.
The Steelers love to run the ball, man. Steelers love the run. I mean, let's check it. Last year, probably had close to 350. So the point is, the Steelers will run the ball, and they'll run the ball a lot. And he's the clear-cut number one guy, and he's young. He's hungry. No tread on the tires. He's ready to roll. He's ready to carry that load. 15-1. It's just very enticing. So, and this new Vikings offense, too, by the way, how could you not love JJ at 8.5-1, knowing that he's going to be in that Cooper Kupp role, the only guy ahead of him on the list at 8-1. Going to be a lot of fun to follow along and see how he gets used under Kevin O'Connell, much like Cooper Kupp was in LA. Vikings, by the way, open up at 1.5-point dogs week 1 at home at the bank versus Green Bay. We'll be watching that one to see how that moves as we get closer to kick off the 2022 season.
Hey, we're talking about props. We got the NBA draft tonight. Are you throwing the mortgage on Chet Holmgren to go number 1 tonight? Plus 500.
I probably wouldn't throw the mortgage on him. He would be the number 1 pick if I was picking for the Magic. It sounds like they may go. It's kind of a two-man race.
It's the Thunder. Thunder are number 1, aren't they?
Orlando number 1. It seems like a two-man race, Sam. I mean, Chet Holmgren, I think he slides to number 2 to Oklahoma City. I think the Magic look elsewhere for their big man, Jabari Smith. But it's anybody's guess, Sam. It's going to be a lot of fun, though. NBA draft. Quick reminder, too, as we wrap up before we go. The first picks of the Ultimate NBA Mock Draft have been made. Search now for Ultimate NBA Mock Draft and get over 50 insiders, the Odyssey Sports experts, the draft experts of Locked On NBA Big Board. The 5-episode Ultimate NBA Mock Draft is underway. Make Ultimate NBA Mock Draft your second listen today after this one. It's not too late. Give it a listen. Get primed up, ready to roll for the NBA Draft tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Rest assured, we'll be back tomorrow to break all that action down. Any final takeaways or thoughts about the draft tonight?
Yeah, so Timberwolves at 19.
Yep.
I'm
Trade
not
for a veteran, maybe? Or what do you do with that? What are you thinking?
So I'm not going to lie to you, Luke. I look at all the names, and the only name that stands out to me is Nikola Jovic from Serbia. And you know why? Because I just watched Hustle, and I want to have the big, lanky European guy.
He's a movie
trained
star.
by Adam Sandler on the Timberwolves. No, but here's the way.
And
that
he's already got
Wolves...
the chemistry with Anthony Edwards, who is also in the movie, too.
Exactly. Yeah, automatic. That's perfect. No, the Timberwolves could make a splash tonight if they make a big trade. If they draft someone at 19, that's fine. I'm not convinced that that's going to change their fortunes for the 2022-23 season. Now, if they pull a Tibbs and they make a big draft night trade, like when he brought in Butler in exchange for Levine, if they make a deal that's going to bring in some fresh blood that can help them right now, that'll get me excited. If they trade Russell and get rid of that salary and open money up for free agency, that'll get me excited. They've got a new president of basketball operations in Tim Connolly, who is going to have to make some bold franchise-altering decisions, and he's been here for like 2 weeks. Like, he's just learning his way, like, to get downtown. He's learning the exits to take. He's trying to find his way to the office, and he's got to decide on the fate of this franchise tonight. I don't envy his position. But I think the Wolves, my prediction is that they just stand pat and pick with 19. They don't rock the boat. But if they want to get weird, get exciting, I think they might deal D'Lo.
Let's get weird, man. New regime. You're right. A lot of pressure on Tim Connolly coming in, starting to finally find his footing here in Minnesota, and boom, all of a sudden, his first NBA draft up tonight, 7 p.m. Again, rest assured, we'll be back here tomorrow to break all that action down.